Man, this one got me hot. And look, if you're a college basketball fan, a college football fan, a Locked On Big 12 fan, and you're thinking, I don't give a rat's butt about Kansas State women's basketball. Well, buddy, I got something new for you. And I'm going to ask you to stick around for this one because there's an oddity here that is blowing me away. That we are missing something in this sport where a women's basketball player at Kansas State has been stripped of eligibility. Jeff Mittie, head coach, gave an update on Tess Heal. Listen to this, Tess Heal. She's out for the time being with Kansas State. Cannot play due to an NCAA violation. Likely in part, Cole Emplett says, due to signing a pro contract in Australia. Buddy, you're telling me Tess Heal, this Kansas State women's basketball player, signed a pro contract to play in Australia after the season is over. She's not accepted a dime. She has not went overseas to play. She's from Australia, by the way. It's not gone overseas to play in the middle of the season. She is telling us after the year is over, she's just signing to go back home to Australia to play pro basketball. The NCAA said, violation. Hey, I'm at the BYU game, and I watched a guy who played in the G League just play for the Cougars. And I don't think it's a problem because the NCAA is allowing it across the board. You should be able to do it if the NCAA is going to allow it. If Alabama can take advantage of the rules, if Arkansas can take advantage of the rules, so can BYU. But why is a Kansas State women's basketball player who hasn't played pro ball? We have G Leaguers, we have guys who played two-way contracts in the NBA, guys who signed NBA contracts playing in college basketball right now. That's allowed. But a Kansas State women's basketball player who solidifies her future, who locks in for the future, doesn't have that liberty. Here's what her head coach had to say in his press conference.
No, just what I said yesterday. We hope for a quick resolution. I don't think it's she made a mistake in regards to the timing of it. But there's nothing else that we feel good that as soon as it gets through the reinstatement process that we'll have her back. Toughness. I mean, Tess is a tough player, and anytime you're missing a player, but others had opportunity to step up, and we've had injuries before, and others have stepped up. We just struggled today to have others play well in that role, and so we've got to do that better.
Yeah, this should infuriate you. This is happening to the Big 12. This should infuriate you. This is not like the Trinidad Shambles situation at Ole Miss where they want you to think the SEC and Ole Miss, the NCAA is out to get Ole Miss. By the way, they have their own number of recruiting issues in Oxford right now. This is a kid who did everything right. This is a kid, a starter at Kansas State, a team that pretty much, they need Tess Heel right now, who is down because she signed a contract with the NBL1 team. She, per 785 Sports KSU, would not play in the league until after K-State season is over. The NCAA has deemed this a violation. There are actual G League players, NBA level players, NBA contract players in college basketball on the men's side. But on the women's side, a Big 12 program is being taken to the NCAA's woodshed. And because they don't think you'll see it, because they don't think you'll care. Listen, there have been times in your life where you felt like, whoa, there's nobody here to help me. There was a time, my family, I've mentioned a lot, like my brother's health issues, right? They're driving across the country in this truck, and it blows up for the second time. Motor blows up for the second time, and it blew up 3 weeks earlier in Colorado. The dealership, the manufacturer's like, yeah, it'll recall on the motor, so give you a new motor, we'll get you on your way. 3 weeks later, blows up again. Halfway across the country, trying to drive this guy to get him, fix his brain, right? Take him to these medical trips and get him across the country. And so my parents were like, hey, we've already spent, thousands of dollars out of our own pocket for hotels and flights, just trying to figure out how to maneuver without a vehicle because we didn't have one because the motor blew up, and it blew up again. What can you do? Dad spent a whole day on the phone. Helpless. You've been in these helpless situations. You've been in a spot where you were thrown on the bench because of some silly, phony rule, and you couldn't do anything about it. Why? Because the big bad man said, there's no consequence for me. It's not going to matter for me. No one's going to point the finger at me and make this my problem, my fault. Well, luckily, thanks to you, listeners of Locked On Big 12, actually, pretty cool. My dad, my family, reached out to an executive at the car company who listens to Locked On Big 12 and said, hey, I'm so sorry that every other person at the lower level below me told you no and said we can't and said we won't pay for it, won't reimburse it, we'll maybe put you in a new truck, but sorry the motor blew, sorry it's on recall, can we just give it back to you? Sorry they all said that. I listened to your son's show. But guess what? We don't live in a world where we're all blessed to have a podcast about the Big 12, that people are watching about the Big 12, right? You've been in a spot where the cards are stacked against you and there's nobody rooting for you. It's the same thing happening to Tess Heel, 5'10" guard from Melbourne, Australia at Kansas State. So here's what I hope you do. And if this is no activism for you, if you don't feel like, I need to call my senator, write my congressman, I don't need to tweet about it, put a Facebook post together about it. I think for me, like the least I could do, and what I feel inclined to do, these emails are public for student athletes, coaches, just a word of encouragement, right? At the very least, think about this. When you think about the future of college athletics, the future of how we allow the men's game and the women's game, how we allow the haves and the have-nots to have access in sports. The NCAA is telling you, we don't care about you. And if you're small enough, we're going to rule against you because we know you can't beat it. The outrage should stem from Charles Bediako suiting up for Alabama this weekend and Tess Heel having to sit on the bench because she signed a contract to play months from now and solidify her future. Her coach, Jeff Mitty, you heard from earlier, calls it a mistake in timing. He has been a pro's pro about this. And Tess Heel, arguably the hottest player on the team, Santa Clara transfer, 31 points against Houston. Can't play because the NCAA thinks they can do whatever they want. That sucks, man. I just want to bring it to your attention. You know what doesn't suck? This weekend, BYU basketball, the BYU experience. This is Locked On Big 12. Hello, friends. Today's show is brought to you by TurboTax. Look, TurboTax makes taxes easy. It's where I'm going this year. It's where I went last year. Because I log into TurboTax, it takes way less time than the other guys, and they make it easier than ever this year, specifically with TurboTax Full Service. Have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert start to finish without the stress or the guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything. W-2s, self-employed forms. They work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, get updates right in the TurboTax app. For a limited time, have your taxes done by a local tax expert. TurboTax expert for $150 all in. That's it. $150 all in. Your taxes are done. If a TurboTax expert does not file for you this year or did not last year, file by February 28th. Take the taxes off your plate. Get back to your life. TurboTax.com/local to book your appointments today. TurboTax.com/local.